DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads. What is going on? Welcome in, everybody, to the KPC, Key Pass Collective. My name is Joe Williams. I'll be your host for this particular episode. Welcome back. So good to see everybody. We got some folks joining us on the live stream. Hopefully we'll get a few more. But do remember to say hello. Do remember to raise a glass and tell us that you're here, that you're listening. And we'd love to interact with you guys in the chat. So if you are here, what is going on? Omar, Draft Espresso, what's going on? Carl, how is everybody? So good to see you all. Keep the questions and comments coming. We'll flash them up on the screen as we go, and then try to answer them in real time as we go along. But for anyone who's new, welcome to the Key Pass Collective. This is the audio companion. I was going to say Key Pass companion, not a thing, but maybe should be. Audio companion to the Draft Society website. TheDraftSociety.com, of course, is your one-stop shop for all your draft fantasy football needs. And so we normally focus on the Fantrax format with the Fantrax default scoring. But there's a lot to be gleaned, even if you do play the official version, the draft game, or any other version of the draft game. That's what we're here to talk about, is draft fantasy football. If you've never tried it, you should. Head over to thedraftsociety.com. It's got everything you need there to get plugged in, and join the draft community on Twitter. It's huge. It's awesome. And until it sucks further, we will be there for the, I don't want to say foreseeable, because who the hell knows, but until we're forced somewhere else, and we'll make sure that you guys know where that is. We're on Twitter. Join the community. All right. A couple things quickly about the Draft Society. So most who have listened to us before know this, but we are the home of the Fantasy Toolkit. What is the Fantasy Toolkit? Well, it is a literal app that we've made. Draft Lad is completely responsible for this, but we've made, and it'll help you basically make your decisions for you. Obviously, you have the final say, but clearly this is going to streamline things. This is going to make things a lot easier for you to be able to make those week-to-week waiver decisions. It's going to give you some value on players in terms of like trade, what you could expect to get back for certain players in a trade, what kind of value you can expect if you're losing a trade or winning a trade. It's got just a lot of stuff on there, as well as a fixture difficulty tracker built in. So yeah, that is kind of our mothership right there. That's our shining jewel. But of course, we have the Inner Circle as well, which offers benefits to any subscribers. It's our members only section, and it's got a whole lot of things: weekly player rankings, points projections every single week, consensus rankings on the international breaks that are sortable by whichever person who actually did the ranking of the players. Set piece taker trackers, which is going to be very interesting in the coming weeks, I feel like, when we've got all these injuries and things going on. So that's something to look out for. There's a whole lot more. Ghost Point tracker and Ryan's Ghost Point article, all kinds of stuff. So check that out. And yes, Paul just reminded me in chat to remind everybody that we have been nominated for the FCAs. So if you are, if you have a free moment, we would really appreciate, just head over to our Twitter account and check that out. We will have that pinned for you, and go ahead and give us a vote for the FCAs. We're thinking we're actually going to have a delegation there this year to represent the Draft Society, and it's going to be pretty cool. So if you have a minute, vote for us for the Football Content Awards. All right, today on the Key Pass Collective, we've got true or false. We're bringing it back. True or false? No, Brett. No, Brett. And Brett in comments said I mean X. No, I'm talking about Twitter, Brett. I'm just only talking about Twitter, and I will only ever talk about Twitter. Anyway, today on the KPC, we got true or false, and we've got Gameweek 7 streamers and stashes. Get you all prepped up for this first double game week of the season. Okay, but before we do that, I have a couple quick things to just mention. But before we do that, let's bring in the crew, and let's make sure that we get refamiliarized with some familiar faces and maybe one unfamiliar face. First and foremost, the draft genie is here with us tonight. Genie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Been quite a busy start to the school track work year, whatever you want to call it. But got home early today. Figured I might as well hop on, give some of my crazy takes or something like that.
Love it. Ryan and Totti, how are things in your necks of the woods?
Good. I feel like it's 2019, the four of us. Chat.
Exactly.
Man,
Yeah.
I like it. No,
Yeah, the only difference is if it were just me and Genie, then it would be, what would that be, like 2017? Genie, when did we start the fucking what the hell was it called?
Kick around.
Kick around.
Kick around.
What year was that?
That was like a 2018 thing, maybe 2017 even. Jeez. Seems like
up with the name?
only last year.
Who came up with the name?
Was it one of the chaps?
That's a great. I think it might have been Fan Tracks, honestly.
Sounds like
the only thing they did well.
Sterilized. Fantrax name.
Yeah, because remember they gave us Genie. Remember they gave us the cover art for it.
Yep. They did all that kind of work for us. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the name was them. Just nice and simple.
Just
nothing too.
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, those are interesting times.
Chat GPT before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So we'll leave the reminiscing to another pod, but let's go ahead and jump into it, boys. So, all right. Like I said, first things first. We wanted to just mention very quickly. People who are joining us for the live stream can see on screen. We've got a slide. It's called "You've Been a Naughty Boy." These are just yellow card accumulations, and I just wanted to flash this up on the screen quickly. I'll go through this for audio listeners, but just any thoughts that you guys have about any of these guys, if this makes you at all concerned or anything like that. So we have Jackson from Chelsea with 5, Gordon with 4 from Newcastle, obviously, Digne with 3, Dougie Lou with 3, Chilwell with 3. That's a whole different conversation now. Branthwaite with 3, Hickey with 3, Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno G, Bissouma, Emerson, and Paqueta all with 3. Is there anything in this list that gives you pause, makes you think, makes you nervous, makes you see an opening? No.
Jackson, man, that guy is more yellow cards than goals.
He's just scored.
Significantly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It had to be said. Yeah. I mean, Gordon, I guess, is going to see a bigger role now. But I don't know.
There's not really anybody that I'm, keeping an eye on. Oh, when they get the 5th, they're, very attractive replacement I'm going to pick up quickly.
It's not like anyone's waiting in the wings for these lot to take over and get the spot. Just for in real life position sake, Villa fans will hope that Digne will hold off with those 2 remaining yellow cards until Moreno is actually fit, so that it can be a seamless transition. But otherwise, yeah, they'll just suffer through the one game.
McGinn was at left back today.
Yeah, I saw that. McGinn at left back. Emery said, we need to give Luca Digne some rest at the moment. It is not ready to yet play Alex Moreno. Hopefully he is close to coming back with us, but not yet. And we need to use a different player, and McGinn played well there. Okay.
I mean, that doesn't sound good for Moreno.
Yeah.
Like, he's not back with us. That suggests that he's not in team training.
He made the trip, though.
He wasn't on the bench.
No, but he made the trip with the team.
I mean, probably had
It
nothing
sounds
else.
like he had a minor setback and that scared them, so they're easing him back. That's what I read. They were cutting back kind of his paces. So
Yeah.
my guess is next international break.
Yeah, that's still.
So 2 more games out.
Yeah, I think so.
Ugh. All right. Anyway, all right, let's move along. So this brings us to injuries. And this is probably the one where we'll have more to say. So as far as injury concerns, new and or, existing. So Harvey Barnes, I'm so sorry, Totti. I wish I had like some funeral music or
This is the best thing that could have happened to you, Totti. You don't have to start.
I know that. I know that.
Not that he was going to start anyways, but you don't have to have him on your roster.
Yeah, I fully embrace that, and I know that I was actually a bit relieved, to be honest. Like when I saw that he went off, and then I wasn't able to follow along the game, so I only saw the first few minutes, and I saw that he went off injured, and I was cursing, and then when I went back to the game and I saw that it was 8-0, I was like, that's my luck. And that just felt like a natural end to things. And if it was like, he may be back soon or something like that, I would have had to hold in both my leagues. So yeah, I agree, Ryan. This is the best thing to have happened. It's a shame, though. I think he's genuinely worthy of a Premier League starting spot, even at Newcastle with the players available there. I'll still draft him round 4 next season.
Has there been a more traded player thus far this season? Jeannie, I'm thinking in our league, I think he's been traded like at least 8 times since I spent like 50 fab on him. Yeah, I traded him for Kai like
every time
week
I
1.
see a trade notification, Barnes,
Yeah.
and it just gets worse and worse every time.
Oh, I thought it couldn't get worse than Barnes for Kai, but man.
I somehow won that trade, by the way.
Did you?
Did you? You still have to hold Kai.
Yeah.
Whereas the Barnes owner has already
cover for Fabio Vieira now.
I dropped Kai last week, so and I'm feeling free as a bird. It's like when you get those breathable underwear and like you've only been wearing like tidy whities your whole life, and you're like, this is what this is supposed to feel like. That's what I feel like now that I dropped Kai.
You'll be back to jockeys in no time.
Yeah, I'm strictly a Haynes guy. I'm not. That'd be weird to have like a distinction like that. Anyway, Hudson Edouard out 3 to 4 weeks. He's a drop, right?
Yep.
He's been good.
He's been really good, like freakishly, surprisingly good. That's like saying you drop what is he, like the 5th highest forward, maybe even better.
Yeah, he's like number 6 right now. I'm just checking.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I'm kind of with Ryan.
Really?
Yeah,
I was never an Edouard guy, but man, he's been balling.
If someone dropped him, I would pick him up easily.
If you can hold, you probably have to hold for United, Forest, Newcastle, Spurs, and then you're going into the 4th of November. that's when they have their purple patch with Burnley, Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth.
Oh, it's
And
perfect.
that brings them up to December. So yeah, I mean, if you can hold, but that's 4 games. I'm with Joe on this, because if Mateta does well, or somehow Olise becomes available, and I think he'll struggle to come back into the team, or Mateus Franca.
Have we
Turns out-
confirmed that he's wandering the earth?
Yeah,
Do we-
turns out to be a thing or a person, because then from the 5th of December it goes like this: Liverpool, City, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, Arsenal, and then Sheffield United, Brighton, Chelsea again. So that brings us to mid-February. So you don't want to own him for that.
No.
At all. So essentially, you're holding a player for 4 weeks for a 4-week run. Following that 4 weeks, I'm with Joe. I think
he could be back after the October break. If it's only 3 weeks, he could be back for the game against Newcastle and Spurs. And Spurs, like, as good as they are offensively, are still pretty mediocre at the back.
Sure.
I don't know. He's been good. Olise doesn't seem like he's gonna start anytime soon. Could even be December before he's back. Mateta is just Mateta. People are holding like all forwards like in Kunku and Tony. Like, yeah, they're big names, but we're talking like guys who will come back in January and might not do nothing. People are holding Calvert-Lewin for who knows what. Kai Havertz. Sorry, Ryan. I see people holding still like Elanga, who I don't even think he started a game, to be honest. And in CCO, I see him still rostered in like near 50% of leagues. So
Dama.
Yeah. Oh God.
Those have to be inactive at this point. I just feel like I don't know.
People get really attached to their early fab purchases and are just super stubborn. It doesn't have to be inactivity. Like, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Gadesh Gauntlet.
I resent that for many reasons. One is that I didn't hold him for that long. Thank you very much.
I mean, as somebody who currently rosters Harrison,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I don't fall into that category in about 3 weeks' time.
Getting close.
Right.
It's Garner season.
It's never Garner season, but that's a different story.
All right.
I'm going down with this ship. It's just not. It's just not Garner season. It's just not Garner season. It's just not.
Another conversation.
Look at his scores. Like, how are we still having this conversation?
It's always been.
He just dropped 19. Season.
Oh my God! 1 week. He just did one thing. 1 week. Yeah, Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes hasn't dropped 19.
Yeah.
On a start. Maybe a late cameo goal, but you never benefited from it.
It's the Miguel Almiron when he joined and dropped 24 ghosts against Stoke and then never scored anything above 5 for the rest of the season.
That's a great comp.
24 ghosts is something else.
I remember that. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah. Let's just run through the injuries because we have a lot on here. These are all from the last game week, and we have about twice as much from today as well.
Jesus. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we have done Edouard, Kevin Schade, surgery on his
toe.
No.
Sorry, I'm thinking of
Barnes.
I'm thinking of Barnes.
Something, definitely a drop.
Chat, help us on that one.
Yeah. Brandon Johnson hamstring issue.
Drop.
No, I think he's fine. I read on the Paul O'Keefe's thing that he's always had this issue, and it's just fatigue that creeps up every now and then. He usually doesn't miss any time.
Just had his first start. What's he so tired from?
I love that. I love the
Yeah.
idea of that. You just have. That's actually how I feel
Chronic
normally.
fatigue. Yeah, I have it
Yeah,
too.
exactly. I mean, if I were forced to run around for 70 minutes, I'd probably look injured.
No, but I think you're right, Jeannie. I think I read that he's might be back in training.
Yeah.
Which is tricky for Solomon rosters because it's kind of a later game, and do you want to really depend on him? I'm having that issue now.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think
tough.
that's worth the conversation. Johnson, Solomon, and Richarlison rosters. I am neither.
I don't see Richarlison slotting into that left wing,
Yeah.
so I think it's
I think
just
Richarlison
Johnson
will
and
drop.
Solomon.
I'm of a different opinion. I think
I can't see Son going back to the left wing. He's just too good up there, and Richarlison's not gonna ever get 2 goals or something. Where he got 2 goals against Arsenal, right? Yeah, that's not happening with Richarlison, and especially against Liverpool. Maybe he'll start against Luton, but even then, like, no, probably not.
I rostered 2 of the 3 of those, Johnson and Solomon, in the IGL, and I can tell you that before last game week, before any news of any injury, I dropped Johnson and was fine with it, even when I saw him starting.
I mean, it was Arsenal, but any other game week other than Arsenal or City, you would have kicked yourself if you saw him starting.
I mean, maybe. He's yet to prove that he is a fantasy asset on Tottenham.
That's fair. But
he still got 5
scoring
points
well
against Arsenal, and honestly, if it wasn't for that incredible save, this would be a whole different conversation. I still don't know how that save was made against Johnson's shot, if you guys remember that. So I don't know. He's a good player, and obviously Nottingham Forest suck other than Gibbs White. So this is a whole different team, and when you have Basuma and Madison, and you're feeding Son instead of, I don't even know, Iwania, who I shouldn't put any doubt on his name anymore.
That man is
another Edward.
I think Johnson's worth if he doesn't start against either Luton or Fulham, then yeah, I would probably drop him, but I'd give him at least 2 more weeks.
I wonder if he didn't even get picked up. He's available. He's available in my IGL league right now. He made it through waivers, didn't even get picked up.
Yeah, I think the injury scared people off.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm out of the 3 that we're talking about, I'm highest on Richarlison, which I know that I'm in a minority with that, but I think Johnson is still an unfinished product. And I think
agree.
They will keep on developing him, put him in for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. He will get the least starts out of the 3, I think. Solomon could not hack it at Fulham. Like, he genuinely couldn't get a starting spot at Fulham. And I think the fantasy scores are actually clouding our judgment on his in real life availability or skill. So I think he was a very good rotation piece, possibly one of the best, like Tsimikas level scramble to pick him up if he starts kind of stream. But I don't think it's possibly anything more than that. And I think the reason I'm high on Richarlison is because he, on paper, his skill set at centre forwards fits this Ange system much better than Son's skill set. Obviously, Son is playing well at centre forward there, and Richarlison wasn't really. And I think I have it, and this is just like genie levels of feelings rather than
Vibes.
actual vibes, yeah, actual database facts. But I feel that Richarlison will be Postecoglou's sort of poster boy of armor on the shoulder. Let's get this lad back scoring. This is going to be like the sort of Spurs good vibes. We'll get the guy with the mental health and football blockage issues back playing well, because this friendly community driven fun managers here and playing well, and so I think it's just vibes of, like, I admit that, but I think I have a feeling that Richarlison is going to be Postecoglou's boy, and he's going to be like, I'll play him. I'll play him more than the others. So that's my Spurs fringe guys take. And yes, Draft Alchemy vibes advice was all you got from Genie.
If only it was always wrong or always right, but we never quite know which way to go with Genie takes.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to them all, it'll end up working out for the best. If you pick and choose, you could come first or last. I really don't know.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's round this out. So, Madison, go ahead.
Can I just put in a word for Solomon, the only one of these three that actually scores fantasy points, which is why we're here.
That's the only one that I kept on my roster, so go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's it. That's literally the advice. He's the only one that scores well. So if he starts, then he's the one that I want. And he's started a lot more than I think any of us thought coming into the season. So obviously Ange has a thing for him. So he's the one I want.
I like it.
I mean, that's fair. Okay, so going with other North London derby injuries, Maddison, Rice should be fine. Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard, all three possibly out for the weekend. Can you confirm, Ryan?
Yeah, Arteta in his presser said that he was very coy about Martinelli and Trossard, basically that they're very close and that either of them could be ready for it this weekend. So my guess is Trossard. But yeah, that's just a guess. He also said that Saka potentially doesn't make it this weekend, but I think he's bullshitting. I don't think Saka's Wolverine. I don't think he's going to miss that game, but we'll see.
Yeah. And we have Gross from the weekend, who is out until the international break. And from today, we have Chilwell injured, and Pochettino saying that he needs a scan to be able to tell how long the injury is.
Oh my God.
But Chilwell started left wing again, didn't he?
No, Mudryk played there, I think.
Oh, Mudryk played there. Okay. Ramsey was not in the squad for Aston Villa, and Unai came out saying that he is actually had a minor setback, so he's doubtful for the weekend. And there is a boatload of Newcastle injuries. Joelinton is surprisingly back, and he got an assist as a starter after being rumored to be out until the next international break.
Yeah.
And Wilson was not in the squad due to a hamstring issue, which is his kryptonite. So that's a big issue. Isak came off after scoring the winning goal against Man City. He came off with a knee issue, and Botman wasn't in the squad either because of a niggle as well. Byrne came off with a knock as well. So either there is a lot of lies from Eddie Howe, or it's going to be one surprising Newcastle lineup at the weekend, which could see Livramento and Hall feature as well. Both Livramento look good. Hall looked decent. Target an option as well for the defense. Trippier didn't play this cup game, so he came through without a scratch. Just some other cup mentions. A few players gave a good account of themselves. Iwobi, Palmer, Kukureya, DCL, and actually Jackson scored as well, and Vinicius scored as well. So there are some players who are vying for some starting spots in there. So keep an eye out. I mean, at this point, I was actually eyeing up Ian Matson and Kukureya before we started potting, and then I just said it's Chelsea defense, and then I didn't pick up either, which I am probably fine with. We just discussed off air with Joe. Both of us have Thiago Silva, and we have been saying that he's been good, but he's actually had only 2 clean sheets, and out of the 6 games, he's only had 1 double-digit score. And after the Fulham Burnley matchups, both are away from home. The next lot of games is Arsenal, Brentford, Spurs, City, Newcastle, Brighton, and Man U, which brings us up to December. So yeah, no thank you on the Chelsea defense.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Chelsea players in our next segment. True, false.
Tell me the truth. You owe me that much.
All right. Thank you, Arnold. True, false. Bold statements that we have concocted to be a little bit wild, maybe too much. But the question is, could they just maybe be true? So will they come true? And if so, to what extent? Or if not, why not? So these are where we kind of, it's almost like worst case or best case scenario. Will it actually come true? Will it actually see the light of day? And I think it makes for some good discussion. This was, Ryan, was this your brainchild?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, true or false, Ryan's brainchild. So it's only right that you kick us off.
It is. This is probably the most controversial one, but I was thinking about it as I just see Olise burning a hole in so many rosters in all my leagues. So I started to ponder whether or not it's actually worth it to wait all of this time when you keep reading about more and more setbacks and wondering if and when he's actually going to come back and be fit and scoring points. And it's like, it's almost at this point as rostering Tony, except for the fact that that Tony's going to be at least quasi-fit coming into January when his suspension's over. So yeah, I wanted to kick this off with a slightly controversial one.
This is a rough one.
I know Genie's going to give me something.
Dutch Cowboys already responded with false in the comments, but
sunk cost.
Yeah, Genie, what do you think about this one? This is exactly the type of player that you would be like, I'm done with him, drop, it's not worth it.
I was going to give you that exact answer. Yeah, he's just when I kept seeing him going like the 4th round, I was so confused. I was like, this dude's he's still pretty young. He's early 20s or something. Palace are mid-table right now. Yeah, they didn't buy anyone, but there's no need to rush him back. They're not in a relegation scrap yet. He's going to be first player off. He's probably going to need a ton of sub appearances. There's no guarantee he doesn't get re-injured, especially if he's rushed back. Yeah, he's an incredible player, but man, this guy, every week it's a new setback. Oh, another 3 weeks. Oh no, my bad. Another 3 weeks from now. another 3 weeks. It seems like at this rate, it's going to be December till he gets his first off the bench appearance. And I mean, what's the point? Honestly, you're just burning a hole. There's in 12-team leagues, at least 2 managers will give you something of value for him, and that is what I would do before I drop him. I would take at this point like a couple fab, but yeah, I'm not holding on to him.
So there's your Genie take. I would not take a couple fab. But I mean, you've waited all this time.
But
that's the problem.
That's the definition of sunk cost fallacy.
100%.
Waited all this time.
Yeah.
No, but it's just not worth it. We're getting into like, if someone's like 0-6 or whatever we're in right now, or 2-4 or something like that, like, and you're holding on to
mortgaging your present.
All right, Genie. I have the ultimate test for you.
Okay.
If somebody offered you Dwight McNeil,
You're going to say Mount.
I take McNeil and just flip him for anything. You know what I mean? It's one of those, like, I promise you McNeil would not play a game for me, but
you just
someone else would want him. But yeah, I would definitely do something like that. It's just, Elise was DND. Someone out there is definitely 1-5 with them, and they're probably also holding on Cuckoo or Tony, and they're like, man, when I make playoffs, it's going to be great. But at that rate, you're not making playoffs.
It's a lot of draft capital. You're right. Yeah, I'd be curious to know how well people are doing with Olise, if he fell by the time your draft rolled around, or what happened there.
I think there was a lot of recency bias on the Olise draft rank, because I was just looking through his scores last season, because I remember he started the season injured as well last season, and I misremembered because he didn't start the season injured. He got injured in August and missed all of September, and then between when he returned to injury on the 1st of October to the 11th of February, he had 5 double-digit scores. 5 of those scores, those 5 were against Leeds, Wolves, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Man United. And he had 10 plus scores of lower than 9. Obviously, after the 11th of February, and especially after mid-March when Hodgson came back in, and we remember clearly that he turned some switch on in Palace, and they became a full-on attacking outfit. He became a really good asset, but yeah, I'm not jazzed about his prospects. I think it's false. Like, I think he's worth rostering, but I wouldn't be trading for him at this point. If you're stuck with him, you're not getting offers, then you're stuck with him. You shouldn't drop him. But yeah, I'd probably try to package him to get someone better.
Yeah, a lot of people in chat are saying, don't drop him, and most people are saying counter to Genie, don't just take a couple fab. We know Genie's pretty ruthless in terms of dropping his players, but yeah, I mean, look to trade out for a starter. Look to trade out for somebody who's fairly consistent. Yeah, I don't mind it. Not worth rostering though. I think we all pretty much agree that's false though.
Yeah.
At least as the true false statement reads. All right, yeah. Ryan.
Yeah, this one hurt to write, but I've obviously watched every game, and they just seem very disjointed and they haven't been as freewheeling and goal scoring as last season. So I've finally looked up the team goal scoring numbers, and yeah, unsurprisingly, they were in 7th with just 11 goals and just 3 more than Newcastle scored over the weekend. So yeah, wanted to put to the fellas whether or not you still think they're going to be in the top 3 for goal scoring. I think they were second to City last season. So 7th now. Do they crack the top 3 by the end of the season?
I've just listened to a pod on The Athletic, and the title was "Do Arsenal Need to Sign a Goal Scorer?" And it was all going round and round on Nketiah not being the one and Jesus not being the goal scorer, but more of the creator that they have needed. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that's actually true. And Jesus,
I never said that I thought it was true.
Sorry.
To the contrary.
I think it's true. I think they will still challenge for the title or the top 4 when depending on how much Man City slip up in the beginning of the season. But yeah, I think they will be top 5 but not top 3.
I think they will. I think they'll get their shit together. I mean, we've only seen 10 minutes this season of Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus, which obviously got them cooking last season. And even without Jesus for that long stretch, they still finished with a lot more goals. So, yeah, it's certainly been disjointed, and they could use a clinical goal scorer, and they've been linked to. I'm seeing Watkins and Tony rumors for January. So I think they still need that type of profile, but I still think they'll get better. They're switching things up, and the injuries have not helped. So I think they'll still crack the top 3.
Do you know how they're doing in terms of their XG?
I haven't. I just have seen it kind of game by game. I haven't seen the full season.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's literally a creation issue, or if it's more of a finishing issue. If it's a creation issue, that makes me a little bit more concerned. I mean, obviously Jesus has been missing, and by all accounts, still is sort of missing at this point. I mean, he's still getting his feet under him clearly. So I don't know. I want to have faith. 7th or 8th in XG. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate that. 8th. Appreciate it. Evan to the rescue in chat. So 8th in XG, 7th in overall team goals. Yeah, I think that goes up. I don't know that they're 3rd, but that goes up. That has to go up once people are healthy, once the starters are back, once they're fit and firing. I think they're, yeah.
But they're hitting their XG, so they have 11 XG, 11.3 XG with 11 goals.
Oh yeah, that's dead on.
Yeah, I think more. I think it's less for me. It's less an Arsenal issue. It's more Liverpool and someone else issue. I think Liverpool will be a top 3 goal scorer, and I think either Brighton or Newcastle will.
I don't think Newcastle will keep it up, but yeah, Brighton would be. I think the Brighton and maybe Spurs would be the
Spurs as well.
Big competitors.
Jeannie, any thoughts on this one?
I'm on the fence. I kind of agree with Totti's take. I think City, Liverpool for sure. That's out and out. And then it'll be between Arsenal, Brighton, and Spurs for sure. I think United might be the least goal scorers of the year. I would not be surprised by that. But yeah, I think Arsenal they're gonna score a lot more than they have right now. They're not gonna stay level with West Ham, which they are right now, or on par with Brentford. Yeah, they're gonna be closer to the Cities and the Liverpool than those guys.
So let's shift gears here to the team with the highest XG in the entire Premier League currently. And that, of course, is Liverpool.
Nice.
This is a true false question, sort of. I'm asking you this just obviously to make a larger point. But do any of you think at this moment in time, without looking it up, that you can name the top 5 scoring Liverpool fantasy assets in order?
Salah's first for sure.
You got that.
I think
Like-
second is either Totti's boy, or I think Robertson's going to be shockingly top 3 or 4.
Who's Totti's boy? Szoboszlai?
Szoboszlai. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jota is up there as well.
Okay.
Nunes for sure.
All right.
I think
It's
Diaz.
false.
maybe.
We can't name the top 5 in order.
No. You guys literally just did. Not quite in order, but you're damn close. So Jeannie said Salah, obviously, and then Jeannie said Szoboszlai, but then sort of walked himself back and said maybe it's Robertson, which it is. 65.5. 0.5 points ahead of Dominic Szoboszlai. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up. Dominic Szoboszlai, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You mentioned Darwin Nunez and Diogo Jota, and it's in that order. Only 1 point separating them.
Where's Diaz?
Diaz is 6th.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Allison.
Nothing wrong with that.
But we have to talk about Andrew Robertson.
Yeah.
Maybe the Trent injury has really helped him to, take some of the set piece and creative reins. I don't know, because he was hot garbage last season.
He's been a monster in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
That's coinciding with the Trent injury, though.
Right.
Not the Villa game. The Villa game is just 12.5 with a clean sheet is a very small monster.
So trade high then.
A very small monster.
I think it's the role, honestly.
Little monsters.
Whenever.
Oh, I love that movie.
Fantastic movie. Fantastic.
Oh, what a gem. What an absolute gem.
Deep cut.
Yep. Whenever it's not Trent on the other side, then Robo just has more freedom to roam.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Gomez isn't exactly the get forward and pump in a million crosses type. I think he's a sell high.
Yeah. I think too.
Ryan?
I started the sell high trend, but the schedule gets better after the next couple, right? Isn't there a nice little soft patch there?
It is.
Yeah, so Spurs and Brighton, and then Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford,
Oh.
City, and then
exactly.
Fulham, Sheffield United, Palace, going on to mid-December. So essentially, after the next 2, it's only City, and then it's clean sailing.
That's what's giving me hope for freaking Trent. Once he's
Yeah.
back, we'll have that nice
It does
stretch.
give you hope for Trent, but yeah, I think Robo will be decent if they figure out how to keep clean sheets. But other than that, if you can sell somebody on Robo being back to Robo things, then I would trade. I would trade right now.
Are you guys selling high on Verge after last week?
No.
No?
Can you?
No. I'd rather
Yeah,
keep him, to be honest.
Verge still has a lot of name recognition out there. I've never been a big Verge guy. He has these monsters, and then he just doesn't.
Me neither.
I just don't think you'll get good value. At this point, like with that run coming up, you're just better off just keeping him. I really don't know what someone would give you for him 1-for-1. You probably have to do some complicated like 2-for-2, 3-for-3 thing where he's like the worst player in that deal. All of a sudden.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
Would you rather Diogo Dalot or Van Dijk?
No, Dallo. Just for the upside for sure. I think with all the injuries. If you asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd say Van Dijk. But with the injuries, I say Dallo.
But I haven't checked his scores. But has Dallo even been scoring well?
Not really, no. I have him
what?
in the league. But
So I'd rather have Verge then.
He got 12.5 last game.
With a clean
3.5. Yeah, 3.5 in the drubbing against Brighton. 0 when Jesus put him on a ice rink. And then 2 against. I mean, he's not doing great, but most of those times, other than the last 2, he was playing at left back. So at right back, I think
their run is decent as well. Palace, Brentford, Sheffield United, City, Fulham, Luton, Everton. I mean,
that's why I think I'd rather Dallo. Just a little more upside there.
Yeah. And he got an assist in the cup.
Thanks, Evan.
It's close though.
Peanut Gallery comes through.
All right. One more thing I wanted to talk about. Let's give kind of updated outlooks on Cody Gakpo and Alexis McAllister. Now that we've seen this offense, now that we've seen the rotation, now that we've seen all of these things, how are you feeling about these two assets? One averaging, this is Cody, 4.75 points per game, and one averaging, this is McAllister, 4.33 points per game.
Wow.
It hasn't changed. I don't think they're worth rostering.
Neither?
No. Yeah, I'm with Ryan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think
one.
Gakpo's worth it if you have Nunes for all these late games with Europa or something.
That's fair.
But even then, man, I'm not happy about starting him either. Yeah, exactly.
I think his score is still very much impacted by the first 4 games where he started in midfield rather than in actually the number 9 role. So I'm still holding out hope for Gakpo, especially since he can play on the left as well. So I still hope for Gakpo. McAllister, I think he's just doing great, honestly, in real life.
For sure.
Yeah.
In that further back defensive 8 or maybe number 6 role, depending on where you look at it. So why would we change that? Like, I think the midfield 3 of Curtis Jones, McAllister, and Szoboszlai is looking really good, and the rotations there and the different roles in different game states are actually working out really well. I think it was against Villa that it was actually Szoboszlai playing at number 6 role for the last 20 minutes, and they can all play an attacking role as well as helping out in defense. So yeah, why would they change?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I mean, and we faded him coming into the season in terms of his draft value. But Ryan, I'm honestly astounded. I didn't know you were ever like. I knew you faded them coming into the season, but I didn't know you were ever like a Gakpo and McAllister are just not worth rostering.
I probably would have drafted maybe Gakpo later in the draft, but yeah, I mean, I had those suspicions, and then based on these scores, it kind of confirmed it. So I'd obviously, it's another one of those things where you don't obviously drop them, but they still have trade value, but I wouldn't want them on my roster.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those numbers are less than streamer value, right?
Less than streamer value. And speaking of, we should welcome in Sanjy to the chat, who tried to trade me Cody Gakpo for Dwight McNeil this week.
I wonder why he wanted to get rid of him. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. The person who Ryan just described as less than streamer value, Sanjy. I hope you're listening. Just kidding. I love you, buddy. All right, guys. Last true or false. Jeannie, I think you're going to have quite a bit to say about this one. Fantasy managers would be better off to drop their Chelsea players and instead just intelligently stream the position. And notice I didn't say which Chelsea players. I just said all.
I mean, dear God. Like, I don't know. I have the league that me and Ryan are in together. I'm like all Chelsea, and it got me a score.
Oh, Luton now.
Almost, yeah, almost 200 one week, and then now I've been suffering ever since. So I'm keeping the one I'm most excited about, as crazy as this is Mudryk, just because he's been their best player in real life the last 2 games. His points aren't exactly something to jump joy about, but they're not horrible when you look at like Sterling and Jackson and those guys. I was so close to just dropping Jackson this week, but I just couldn't do it. I gotta hold him in the league. But yeah.
Sorry. Is this the real life football league podcast?
Mudryk will come good. I just think he's a little low on confidence.
You just said that about McAllister, Totti.
Sorry,
Jeannie.
Arm around the shoulder of Richarlison.
All right, sorry, Jeannie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Poch is just taking him off because I think he's afraid to sub off Sterling and all these big name guys. But once Mudryk goes off, it's like Palmer's pretty damn good. But other than those two, they really don't have many creative players. So I think Mudryk and Palmer are the two I'm the most excited about. I'm not excited at all about Sterling anymore. And this guy's just so selfish, man. And Jackson, I don't know. I watched the replay of his goal right now. It looks like a half scuffed shot that, he was shocked himself it went in. And oh my God. Yeah, I'm close to dropping them, but I'd rather trade them out, like just their name.
Jeannie, we have a comment in chat from Anthony Alfili. Yeah. He's wondering if you're in a 6 to 8 man league because you keep talking about dropping these players and he just can't believe that you would actually drop certain players. Clearly he's never been in a list with you.
I would definitely drop. I've dropped bigger name players before, and it always works out in the end. Someone else could waste their fab on them. It just comes a point where you're just done with a player. It's getting to that point for Chelsea assets. You guys might have a different take, but I have like at least 2 Chelsea assets in every league, and it sucks.
I mean, I got to be honest. When I was drafting this question, I said, "Oh wait, hold on. No, Sterling is 10.5 points per game. Like that's pretty damn good." And then I looked at his scores, and he scored 33 against Luton, and the rest have been like fairly dog shit. So I think I think this is true.
Yeah.
I'm taking some heat in the chat because I added intelligently streaming the position. But I mean it. I mean, if you are going to actually take the time and stream based on matchups, based on form, whatever, like then I think you can do better than Chelsea assets. All right, I'll shut up. You guys go ahead.
I think it's true. Ryan?
I think it's largely true. There are a couple folks like Jeannie mentioned that are I think worth holding. I hold Palmer in a league. I'm getting very impatient on that one. I just picked him up a couple weeks ago, but I still have some hope for him because I think they desperately need that creativity, and he showed last season with City and early this season that he can do bits. So giving him a little bit of hope, but everyone else with Chilwell down and obviously Reese out. He keeps persisting with Gallagher. So I think that has to change at some point, but Gallagher's been doing decent, like 8 or 9. So, I mean, if I had him, I would probably hold him. That's decent value.
Gallagher's like this new sort of like kind of midfielder who's cropped up that we've seen this year. Like, have you noticed this? You've got like Billy Gilmore. You've got like Longstaff over the last few weeks. It's kind of guys like that where it's like they used to be your CDMs, but they're not really CDMs. They're just sort of like midfielders who are sort of less involved, but they're involved enough to get you like the 7 to 9. And then sometimes you get lucky like you did with Longstaff last week.
Yeah, they've been playing Gallagher more in the hole, in the 10 spot, which I think is madness, especially when you got Cole Palmer on the bench. But yeah, that's the only reason I think he's gotten decent points. But yeah, it's a fair point about Gilmore. He's so random. He just pops up for assists every now and again, and then he'll drop like a 2 and 2.5. So I've stayed away from him because I don't like the non-reliability of him.
Yeah, that's fair. Last but not least, let's talk about Nkunku. So people have held for this long. Is that an exception? Would you keep holding him? You're not going to drop him if you've made it this far? 84% rostered.
I think his timeline keeps getting worse. If you're in a playoff league, I think I would hold him because we all know he has a guaranteed spot once he's 100%. If you're not in a playoff league, I try and pawn him off. Someone will be interested. I've seen Nkunku thrown around in multiple trades across my leagues, like every couple weeks. So he's just going to keep changing teams, in my opinion. I wouldn't drop him. Someone out there will bite.
I would drop him. I think you're gonna drop him during Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
Even like he's gonna be much closer, and it's gonna hurt much more because you've been holding him for weeks on end. But you're gonna have to drop him because there will be like 3 games in the span of 7 days, and there's gonna be rotation hell, and you're not gonna want to lose those 3 games because of him, which you will consider it because of him because it's not because of him, it's because of you, and you haven't dropped him after listening to the spot. So just drop him.
I think someone will give you trade value for him. Like I agree he's definitely droppable, but if you should at least send out a trade to 11 people, if they all get declined, then he's on the waiver wire.
I mean, I'd trade him for Fab or something like that.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Maybe like 5 Fab is the best you'll get.
It's not a bad idea, especially if you're trying to form a Fab monopoly.
Love that.
Did I hear that you're close already, Totti, in the league?
Not close yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
I have 1/3 of all the Fab.
Wow. All right, we'll talk more about Fab monopolies as it gets closer to a reality. But we bring it up every season, and it pretty much never lets you down at this point. This is 3 years running that you've been doing Fab monopolies.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Yeah. Okay, Nico Jackson. I mean, I just think he's not it personally. I'm really glad I don't roster him anywhere. Genie says he sucks. I don't know about that.
Does he know how to shoot a ball? Does he honestly know how to shoot a ball?
He's just scored a goal.
Yeah, but did he mean to do that? That's what I really want to know. The shot against Bournemouth, it just blows my mind more every time because he falls down, but like no one pushed him. Like Max Aarons is just chilling near him, and this guy makes it a whole meal. Oh my god!
Did you see the GIF that had like the goal being
the goal expanding?
Oh,
300% needed.
Yeah, I do think both Arsenal and Chelsea will go in very hard for Osimhen in January.
I was thinking Tony would be their
love to see it
one,
and Tony as well. And
Tony would be fine too.
Tony rumors are heating up.
Yeah, I think
Ollie too.
Watkins rumors. Yeah. I think actually I do think that Broja, if he gets a few goals, then he will get. He's a good player. I think
he is, but I think it's more likely we see Sterling at the 9. Just because this guy's so damn selfish, man. Pochettino might try something new, bring in Palmer and Mudryk on the wing, Sterling at the 9, and then
The further
boring
forward you
midfield.
push, the further
Yeah.
forward you push a selfish player, the less impact he has on the team movement and passing, because the further forward he is, the less passing work he has to do. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
The midfield 3 needs to change up, but I kind of like the idea of seeing Palmer and Mudryk on the wings. If Madueke would ever decide that he wants to play a game again, then
I think Pochettino is quoted saying that he's fit, healthy, and training, and he missed the squad by choice.
What?
Yeah, he's
sounds
done.
like Sancho 2.0.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot understand how these teams, Manchester United and Chelsea, are just melting down like this. It is absolutely wild.
I think United are having it worse than Chelsea.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Half your right wing people in jail, the other half on Xbox. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to Garnacho next.
Well, I mean, look at him. Someone's going to beat the shit out of him is what's going to happen.
I mean, I wouldn't. If I were a girlfriend of any of the United wingers, I would start packing my shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, eventually you're going to see Rashford doesn't feed kids. It was all a lie. I don't know.
Oh God! All right, before we have the entire UK turns off this podcast. No, we like Rashford. He's great. He's a good guy. All right, let's
doesn't feed kids.
Oh, Totti, did you add something?
I added one.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Look
all
at
right.
you. Wow.
Take it. This took me completely by surprise. Go right ahead.
So there will be at least one team with 0 losses and one with 0 wins on Christmas. On Christmas Eve. After game week 18. For reference, currently City, Liverpool, Spurs, and Arsenal are unbeaten, and Sheffield United, Burnley, Luton, and Bournemouth have no wins.
I think it's true.
Oh man, in the Premier League in this day and age, I can't.
I think the gap between the top teams and the bottom teams has become so huge this season.
Oh, I agree.
But just these bottom 4, though, the mid-table teams can still give you a scare. But these newly promoted teams have been worse than usual.
Yeah, the 0 losses one is definitely a safer bet. But
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I mean, the 0 wins one. The 0 wins one is the safer bet, and the 0 losses one is definitely a bit risky. But
if that Luton Burnley game is a draw, they're fucked. I don't see any ways they're going to get wins.
Yeah, that is the Super Bowl for them. Both those
honestly,
teams.
Yeah.
And you could even say Everton too. This is the biggest double game week. Like this is the biggest week of football in their lives.
For Luton? Oh,
for Luton.
Oh my God, this might be it. It's if they don't get at least 3 points out of this game week, they might as well just start getting ready for the championship again.
Oh, yeah.
What about the no losses? You think every one of these will lose one game?
I gotta say false Totti, just because like this seems like a really generous Vegas line. Like it feels to me like you're giving me too much on the one side. Where if I were to bet against this, then I would have a pretty comfortable cushion. I feel like.
Yeah, but you're not getting much for your money, sort. And if anyone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything,
you take it.
That's a
good point.
Kevin from The Office line.
Even something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's true, it's unfortunately I think it's City because they're winning effortlessly. They don't even look that good, and they're winning effortlessly. And I think
I do hope Arsenal take.
We're gonna at least draw that game.
Yeah, with no Rodri, I think that's a good.
God, I hope so.
That's a good chance there.
No offense, Ben Chickens.
No,
offense. Do offense. Yes, offense.
Take offense. No, just kidding. Yeah. Chapdog 9997. They looked rough tonight with no Rodri.
Yeah, but like they played Calvin Phillips, man. You're gonna look rough with him.
Calvin Phillips still somehow getting called up to the England national team.
I think that's a whole nother podcast.
How? I mean, I'm an American. I understand. I don't understand footy like some of these folks, but seriously? Anyway.
I mean, he's bunking with Maguire.
Yeah, Henderson too.
Who got subbed off early for City?
Hold on. I have it right here.
They all played the 90?
No. Okay, hold on. I got you. Okay, so Foden came on in 74 for Alvarez. Kovacic came off for Doku. Ake came off for Nunez.
So no one came off early, like Alvarez.
Oh, no.
74 is decent.
No,
Alvarez
74.
At 74, yeah.
Yep, 74 was the earliest.
I think he'll still start, though. I'm not too worried there with all the injuries and the suspension. I think he'll start this weekend.
Yeah, Grealish played the full 90 as well.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Yeah, Doku
you're thinking about your bet, aren't you, Ryan?
that bet's paid for itself. I already spent that money.
Oh man! All right, let's talk streamers, boys, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up here tonight. Okay, Gameweek 7 streamers. Of course, streamers are high upside guys. Just usually 1 week plays. We'll let you know if we think that they're more than that. But for the most part, you're picking them up this week. You're dropping them after this week, unless they've got a good matchup to come. But yeah, these are the ones we're targeting this week. Ryan, you want to kick us off?
Yep. Soufal, he's randomly been dropped in some of these. I think probably after the City game. And yeah, coming off Liverpool as well. But yeah, scores well, is capable of getting an assist like he did against Liverpool. Sheffield United at home doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, that kind of explains itself. Branthwaite, tall lad, should be good at aerials. Luton pumping crosses incessantly. Good matchup at home. He if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he at least should get some aerial goes. So decent shout there. Garner, I forgot that this was just a 1 week play. I think Garner's a little bit longer. Dropped 19 last week. Looked really good. Yeah, I think he's got potential for the rest of the season, at least the next 2 weeks, Luton and I think Bournemouth. So he should be good for those two. I hate to say it, Longstaff, I played against him this week, so that magic is gone against Burnley, but you got to think on paper, Burnley at home should be a good matchup for him. This one's tricky because it's the last matchup on Monday, but yeah, I feel like Palmer is going to get a start. Supposedly looked good in the Cup. I think Poach has to revert to him at some point. Fulham has been very easy to play against. Granted, it's still Chelsea, of course, but you can have some probably Fulham defensive cover. Maybe somebody drop Tete or Castaña's available, some sort of cover just in case. Because yeah, like I said, it's the last matchup. So that's your lot.
I like those. There were several of your players, actually three actually that I wanted to add. And then when I got into the document, you'd already had them. So those would have been Sufal, Branthwaite, and Longstaff. I had on the tip of my tongue. I was about to add them into the document, got in and saw you already had them. I just want to mention, I'm also a believer in those three for sure. Somebody's mentioning Mandrews, in fact, in chat, is asking, what about Mikolenko? Because you said Branthwaite. I know, Jeannie, you were asking about this in our group chat, maybe yesterday or was it today?
No, it was this morning. But yeah.
What did you ultimately decide on Mikolenko?
I kind of agreed with Ryan's take. He's the one who kind of talked me out of him. It's just we don't know. I mean, if Luton scores, he could get -2. The ones to target are those pumping in the crosses that are going to be cleared. So Tarkowski and Branthwaite are going to have a good week. But yeah, I'm definitely not touching Ashley Young and Mikolenko. I'm on the fence still. Like, if I'm desperate, then sure. But he's not going to be someone I'm actively looking to get now that I've really thought about it.
It's like a day of. Like, you could slot him in. He's probably still available on the morning of.
I've seen him picked up in a fair amount of leagues the last day or two. He's unreliable for me. I mean, he could have a good day, he could not. He doesn't usually ghost consistently. Like Jeannie said, if they end up nicking a goal, then
I think
some trouble.
I think he had like a 3-point something points per 90 last season. I'm not touching that, and as much as it's Daesh and as much as it's Luton, as we said already, it's their Super Bowl week. So, So yeah, I'm not touching Mikolenko. I'm not touching anyone out of these defenses facing Luton and Burnley that do not ghost well, because I think they will do everything to score.
If you had to hazard a guess, what would you say Mikolenko's points per start are? Points per start.
2.8.
Yeah, 3. I was gonna say 3.2, but something same, essentially the same.
Jeannie?
Yeah, 2 something, 2, 3 in that garbage range.
5.9.
Oh, interesting.
Still don't want him.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just saying, like,
doesn't move me.
The narrative feels a little bit off to me. Like he has been doing some bits, if you will. And one of the matches he played was against Arsenal. So
very, very small bits, though.
Sure. 7 against Brentford while conceding a goal. I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it. But he's not on my streamers. I thought about it, but I didn't ultimately do it. Let's hear about yours, Totti.
A Forgotten Man.
Oh, blast from the past.
Niakate. He's actually projected to score around 10 against Brentford, who looked absolutely horrid against Everton last week. And also like to cross as well. So it should have a decent score. Will Hughes against Manchester United got some sets, if I believe, in the last few game weeks, and he did have 2 very good scores. I'll pull them up right now. So yeah, I think Palace will look much better. They actually played United in the cup as well and lost 3-0. So I'd be surprised if they lost that comprehensively again. So yeah, Hughes actually had 6.5 and 10 in the last 2 games with no attacking returns, so I think that's pretty decent for a streamer.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson, the aforementioned problems with wingers from Arsenal. Could see him start. He actually scored a goal today in the cup, which definitely doesn't hurt his chances. He scored the winning goal, and then was subbed on 80 minutes. So yeah, I think if both Saka and Martinelli or Trossard miss out, then he's definitely next in line. And the last one, I didn't want to crowd my picks with double game week players, but Zeki Amdouni, I actually was really impressed with him against United, especially early doors. He was attacking the ball. He got into very good positions. He could have had a couple of goals in the first 30 minutes against United. He was very unlucky. So yeah, I think he's definitely a good. He has a chance to go 20 points plus into double.
Jeannie, if I think you're
Yeah.
still with us, right? Draft Espresso asking in the chat, what's the sweet spot for DGW players? He currently has 4.
Well, I think it's going to depend which 4. Like if you have if you have some
The
good
whole of
value-
Luton defense.
Oh God, I'm currently in the process of dropping every Luton defender. My double game week hype for that has kind of died off. I don't mind. Well, I'll list a couple of the double game week streamers when it's my turn, but I think 4 is okay if they're all usable. You have like a goalie. Trafford is good, and then you have like 2 of the midfielders, and then maybe 1 of the forwards. Then that's not bad. But if you're stacking defenders, then no, thank you.
Okay, let me run through mine quick because then I want to hear more about your DGW guys, because last I knew you were streaming multiple Luton defenders. I'm curious if this is because of the Lockyer injury, or we'll talk in a second. But okay, here are mine. We talked about Gilmore previously. I don't think we need to say a whole lot more. He's been doing fine. And I just say fine because these are streamers, let's be honest. Nayef Aguerd versus Sheffield United. I literally wanted to pick Ryan's boy here, but he was already taken, and so I went with the second best. And he's actually been ghosting fairly well. I have to mention Brown because he's still 4% rostered, which is ridiculous. You got to go pick up Jacob Brown. He has his double game week this week. I think he's one of the absolute exceptions where he could start both, play probably, 60 to 70 in each, and do fairly decent. And yeah, if you watch him, he passes the eye test. I like him. And then last but not least, with the Oden Edouard injury, I know they're playing United, who haven't been powerhouses, but are still a decent team. JP Mateta, if you're desperate at forward, and I will emphasize that, if you're desperate at forward, because don't expect a whole lot. It's a dart throw. All right, Jeannie, tell us about your double game week, guys.
Okay, so for my streamers in general, I got Nakamba, double game week guy.
Oh,
general,
Ryan's boy.
He's actually been pretty damn good, like in terms of just being consistent, 6 to 8 points. So we know that's going to translate to at least, I'd say, 11 points. So, I mean, why not pick up guaranteed double digits? He's going to go 90 in both games for sure. The only other double game week guy I have on my streamers, because most are pretty well rostered, is Ramsey, the Aaron Ramsey, who got 9 points against United. He's not a bad shout. Newcastle are still good, but all these injuries and stuff, if he could get a start there, then I'm confident starting him. At least he'll get the first game. Most likely he'll get another game, but if not, then he'll probably come off the bench. So you're looking at maybe 100, 120 minutes. My non-double game week streamers, I got Jacob Murphy, just because of all these injuries. If he comes into the side, he's one of those that you want to be quick and get. I like Idrissa Gueye this week, actually. I've been kind of monitoring him the last 2-3 weeks. I think he's playing more advanced in the other midfields. Garner kind of wanders everywhere, but Guy's been getting close to those point ranges, and he's been getting a lot of key passes, especially against Brentford. So Sheffield, they're pretty garbage. And then 2 more defenders. I got Joe Gomez against Spurs. He's just been in great form. He didn't play at all today, so that kind of gives me a little more hope for him starting next week, maybe the week after too. And then one of Evans and Varane. I'm not excited about saying it, but with Edward out, I'm a little more confident in a clean sheet. If Edward was in, I would say avoid United center backs, but I don't know. They might be able to get like 5-6 goals and a clean sheet. Don't expect 20 points again from Evans, but 12 maybe.
Yeah. So it sounds to me you're off of both of the Luton center backs.
Yeah, I picked up Lockyer and Bell in quite a few leagues. I've dropped Lockyer because of injury. Even if he starts the first, there's a very good chance he doesn't start the second, or he comes off with at halftime because of an injury with like a -1 or like a 0.5, and then you're just staring at him for like 10 days.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think the Luton defense is going to be a lot worse with him. He wasn't very good on the Neto goal, but he is, in my opinion, their best defender. So I think they're going to concede both games for sure. And Foster is back for the Burnley Luton game, so he'll be well rested, ready to go. Everton are looking much better, so there's no way Luton keep a clean sheet against them. I've dropped Lockyer everywhere, and I'm currently in the process of finding Amari Bell replacements. Kabore is the only one I'm torn on, just because Everton and Burnley still give up a ton of chances. Obviously you're starting Doughty, but he's not a defender, so we're all good there. But I know Ryan's the first one to get all excited about Kabore, so I kind of want to hear his take on that.
Man, I loved Kabore 2 weeks ago. The Kabore of last week was, man, I was literally clenching my wife's hand when Morris was taking that penalty. I was like, I need this assist.
It's just like Niakate. I don't know if you guys remember last year when Niakate balled for like a week and a half or something, and then just bombed after that.
Yeah.
And then got injured.
I think Doughty was sucking up all the space and energy down the left. So I still have hope for Kabore, just because he's shown that he can ghost. Maybe they watch the tape and target Doughty, and the right side is a little bit more open. But 2 cracks at the whip for these 2 matchups. I mean, I think you gotta go with him. So I'm starting him in the 2 leagues I have him.
I was trying to see who played for them yesterday. It was Giles went 90.
Yeah. The thing I worry about with Doughty is that Giles gets the second game, especially against Burnley, just because I feel like they're going to cross a lot more in that game. And then Doughty only gets 1 game, comes off with 7 points. And then, I don't know, man, this is, other than Nakamba, this feels like the biggest trap of a double game week for Luton.
I would tend to agree with you.
Yeah. I'm only doing selective, like Kabore and Doughty, I think. And then Brownhill for Burnley I have in a couple leagues.
Ryan, what if Doughty doesn't go in the first game?
I feel, unless I was jammed up, I probably wouldn't go with him. Yeah,
I'd probably drop him.
Yeah, he's a drop, right? And same thing with Giles. If Giles goes in the first game, you start him. If he doesn't, you drop him.
I've literally been holding on to him just for this week. If he doesn't start, he's gone.
Easy drop. Yeah.
Same, I think, for all of these guys, really. If they don't start the first. This is the only reason you're holding them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Doughty is the only one that gives you some thought. on whether to start from the bench because he's
going to get 30.
Yeah, he's likely getting 120 minutes in the double, which is decent, honestly.
What about Ross
And he's
Barkley if he's on the bench?
If he's
just because of the injury, I don't think you can count on it.
If he starts, obviously you should probably start him, even though he's highly unlikely to go for the second game as well. But if he doesn't start, it's definitely a drop.
Like, let's not forget, going back to Doughty, let's not forget that Wolves are better than both of these teams they're about to play. And he scored 16 points in 70 minutes.
But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Giles and Barkley were not on the field. So he literally had every single set piece. I didn't watch. I watched some of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's but it's rare though that you see him and Giles on the pitch at the same time. It's happened, but it's rare.
Yeah, it happened, and then they lost.
It's mostly the Barkley element.
Barkley. Yeah.
I'm nervous about starting Doughty if Barkley is also starting on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm nervous about starting any of these guys, to be honest. I mean, like Jeannie was saying, this could be the biggest trap of all time.
If you're picking up a goalkeeper, which one are you picking up, Kaminsky or Trafford?
Trafford. I don't think it's even close, to be honest. This guy, he's hasn't got negatives all year, so cue the negatives. But he's making saves. Kaminsky, I'm so terrified watching this guy play. I don't even know if he's played goalkeeper in his life before. It scares me.
Mandrews is asking in chat, Kabore or Reguilon?
Kabore.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Kabore. Palace
even from the bench.
Reguilon just got 5 points with a clean sheet.
Yeah, I'm going Kabore on that one. Reguilon sucked last week too.
And then it wasn't in the squad for the midweek game.
Yeah,
Reguilon just sucks in general, man. So that's a whole nother issue.
And then immediately he follows this chat with, "I'm over Reguilon already."
Like
as he should be.
He's a drop. Reguilon.
That is the ideal listener. He asks, we tell him, he's
done. He's over it. I'm over it.
Yeah, done.
Yeah. All right. Let's close her down, boys. So, adios, muchachos and muchachas. Thank you so much for everyone who listened thus far. Best of luck this weekend. Totti, are we planning a Spaces this weekend?
Yeah, possibly. Something that will be riddled with my kids, but they will be getting their well-deserved coloring pages of different Disney princesses so that they keep quiet. We'll have Spaces Saturday, very likely. Sunday, questionable.
Maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Also, vote for us at the Football Content Awards. If you are a whiz, if you are a whiz with whipping up voting machines, that's also fine. If you own a farm of Egyptian voting bots, that's also fine.
Yep.
So we'll be there with most likely myself, Robbie, and Sanjy will make it to Liverpool. So if you are around Liverpool on the 16th of November, then we should do a meetup.
Yeah.
Before the actual thing. I'm actually traveling there on a flight that leaves Budapest at 5:55 in the morning.
Oh,
and then coming back the next day on the flight that comes back from Manchester at 9. So I have to be at the Manchester airport at 7.
Oh,
So it's going to
it's
be
a
a quick visit.
wow.
But yeah, that's how the flights presented themselves.
Oof. You'll have to go easy on the ales.
Or hard.
No, yeah, it's good. There's no middle ground here.
No middle ground. And with Sanjy and Robbie, I think it's going to be the hard part.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Jeannie, good to hear from you again, man.
Yeah, it was a good time. Let's not wait another 4 years to get the squad back together.
I love it.
It's on you, brother. Anytime,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You know where to find us. All right, listeners, again, thanks so much. If you made it this far, you guys are amazing. Community, we love you. Hit us up with any questions you guys have. Join us on Spaces on Saturday morning on Twitter. Go to the Draft Society's Twitter profile, and you can find us there. We'll obviously tweet out when that goes live, and you should have your notifications on anyway, so it'll let you know. But yeah, any start sit questions, switch in, switch out, waiver wire guys, we'll be there for you morning of to give you our thoughts. But otherwise, best of luck. Hope you guys go out there and dominate. Remember, double game weeks are terrible and really just hell spawn. So if you lose because of a double game week bullshit type of thing, then don't take it too hard, because it's going to happen to me, I promise. All right. Cheers. It's KPC. Talk to everyone soon. Love you guys.
Cheers.